Kannuki gatame from a closed guard position. Ideally, I get one of his arms while it is somewhat straight. If he goes down on his elbows close to me, it gets more difficult. So it's a good option if he tries to stay away from me. Here you can see if he goes down, there's not enough space. I would have to do something about that first. Now if I get his arm, I wrap around it, starting from the inside, and I wrap twice until I have his forearm trapped. Then I put my right hand on his left shoulder, my left hand goes on my right forearm, and that locks it in. Then I open my legs, put my feet on his hip, and squeeze together with the knees, just to keep control over him. And I get the submission by lifting up my hip and straightening my back. Same thing from a different angle. I start by wrapping the arm from the inside until his arm is trapped. My hand goes on his shoulder and my left hand on my forearm. Open up the legs, put them on his hips, squeeze with the knees, and now I push my hips up. The thing is, he will rarely give me his arm that easily. He will usually try to keep them bent and under control. I can open him up by moving him and forcing him to post or open up with an arm. First option I'm showing here is with a hip bump. So I move up and try to throw him over with my legs. And he posts with his arm, I catch the arm, and when I have it under control, I can start wrapping it up. Another option is just pulling him down and then attacking the opposite side arm. Through the movement, I often end up in slightly different positions, not always completely underneath him. But that makes very little difference. Here I'm at the side, on his side, the arm position is the same, the leg position is more or less the same, squeeze them together, straighten the hips, and he has to submit. It only really changes the arm lock if he manages to bend his arm and twist his elbow to the inside or the outside. He twisted to the inside. I'm doing essentially the same thing, only because there's less space. My right hand quite often only grips his lapel and doesn't go all the way up to his shoulder. Feet do the same thing, knees do the same thing. And now instead of just straightening the hips, I straighten the hips and twist my shoulders to the side. And that twisting motion puts enough stress on his arm. If he manages to turn his arm to the other direction, which he's doing now, I keep control over it, I move out and switch to an omoplata position. And then I can finish my arm lock from there. It's going to be a different arm lock, but still an arm lock. It's good enough.